Or maybe just like me, he had you in a place to sit you down and be like, hey, let me show you real quick. Before I take you to where I'm trying to get you, I need you to see this so you can correct it. What's up, suckers, and welcome back to Everything Courtney. Y'all, this isn't going to be like a super long video, but it's just a video that I really wanted to do to encourage somebody. Yeah, I know I love the Lord, and so I just wanted to like share something that recently I encountered that really spoke to me, and I just want to share it because it may help someone else. So the other day I was driving to Publix one night, not too far from my house, and as I approached Publix, there is a turning lane that you can just like kind of cross over the traffic. It is a 3-lane road, but you can cross over traffic, or you can go up to the light and just turn with the turn signal. Now, I've had some previous trauma with cars. I've been in an accident. I've been in a really bad accident involving a 18-wheeler, and that's a whole nother testimony. So I have a lot of PTSD when it comes down to it. I've been like clinically diagnosed and stuff like that. But anyway, so I do have my reservations when it comes down to driving, and so I work through, you know, therapy and things like that, but sometimes you just kind of let fear kind of overtake the things that you've learned to kind of combat it. So as I'm driving and I'm getting ready to approach it, now oftentimes I do forget about this turn lane because it's like I'm always just focused on the fact that if I go up to the light, I have a green arrow, then I can just turn left and not worry about trying to cross over oncoming traffic. But at nighttime, typically traffic is a little bit less busy because I do live like in a busy area. So as I'm approaching Publix, I look at the turn lane because I remember it. Oh, the turn lane's there. And as I look at it, I'm like, well, I could just turn there. But then I started getting afraid. I'm not gonna lie, it was like fear setting. I'm like, oh yeah, but then you gotta kind of like wait for traffic, and what if you like don't time it right? All these different things, scenarios started popping up in my head. So I'm like, I don't know. And so as I got closer to it, I started seeing cars. I'm like, oh yeah, see, like traffic is coming, so clearly it's a good idea that I don't cross over. I'm gonna just go to the light and just turn. And like, and as I look down at the light, I see like the crosswalk counting down. Now I can't see how long it says, but I can see that it's orange and counting down. So I'm like, oh, okay, I won't even have to wait that long because it's already counting down. I can tell by the traffic pattern that I'm gonna have the green light next. Like, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. And so as I'm going to the traffic light, I noticed that there's literally no traffic coming. I mean, absolutely no traffic. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's clear as day. There's no traffic from the point when I seen a couple cars to me getting to the light, which is like every bit of like 10-15 seconds. So I'm like, what the heck? And then upon getting to the light, I noticed that the countdown was only on like 11. So then I had to wait an additional 11 seconds once I got to a complete stop. I said to myself, I'm like, dang, Courtney, you would have already been there if you just went at the turning lane because there was no traffic coming. And so as I'm sitting there thinking about this, God is like, to me, he says, fear won't stop you from getting to your destination, but it will delay the time that you get there. And I'm sitting in my car like, huh, what? And I was very much aware that it wasn't my thought process because that's just not what I was thinking about. And so I'm like, you know, trying to learn to be extra sensitive to the Holy Spirit when he's speaking to me versus when it's my own thoughts. So I'm sitting there like, huh, wow. And God, it was just telling me in that moment, he was like, fear will delay you from getting to your destination, the things that you're trying to reach. It won't stop you from getting there, but it will slow you down in the process. So I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, like reevaluating this particular situation. And I'm like, I made up all these excuses as to why I couldn't cross over, and fear was the driving factor. It was driving the fact that I would not cross over this busy road, which it wasn't that busy at night. And it was a long turning lane, so it wasn't even like I had, you know, I could have still gotten over, but at the last minute I was like, oh no, I see the light like counting down. And then it started making me think about how we come up with like excuses as to why we won't do things, and these are our distractions or our like technicalities of why we're allowing fear to perpetuate in our lives. And I'm not saying that there won't be roadblocks or things we gotta look out for, like the traffic that was coming. However, the God we serve will always make a clear path for you when it's your time to go. And those things shouldn't be indicators as to why I'm not gonna pursue it and possibly take a longer route when it's all because of fear. Because if God called me to it, he's gonna see me through it. And so ultimately I get to the light and still had to wait an additional 11 seconds because the timer was still counting down. So I had a moment where I was at a standstill looking at my destination and couldn't go because at the place I thought was going to be my safe place or my comfort area, which what it really was is my comfort, and me being complacent, I was forced to wait. And in that moment, I had to sit and think about the times that I could have taken, but I neglected, or I was lazy, complacent. I was coming up with excuses, technicalities, and didn't want to take the chance. And so I just really want to share that with y'all, because I love when God uses real life stuff to like implement spiritually. And I've been praying for him to make me sensitive to his spirit in like all my senses. And in that moment, I was so grateful that he like was really downloading to me, because it was applicable to this place in my life as well as other places in my life. And it was just so good. And I really want to share it with you, because I don't want us to live a season of fear this season. And we are destined for greatness, but we will reach it at a delay if we allow fear to be our driving factor. So what are we gonna allow to drive us? Fear or faith? Fear or the security of knowing that our God, our Father, has our back? Like, what is going to be our driving factor in this season? Because it's going to make the difference. We're going to have another year just like last year and the year before if we do not allow faith to replace our fear. And I also want to encourage you that even if you do have fear, even if it tries to creep up, first of all, we know that God does not give us a spirit of fear. So there right there is an indicator that that is not of God, that the enemy is at work at some point, or we are allowing ourselves, because sometimes we give the enemy credit and it really don't be him, and we do not need to give him any kind of credit. But sometimes it is our own thinking, our own way of doing things, and it's easy to deflect. But let's be accountable in this season. Hello, even within myself. Intentionality, y'all. Being intentional. And so I want to encourage you to, even if you are afraid, do it afraid. But in all things, y'all, even if you are afraid, use wisdom, okay? Use your godly wisdom to know that it is time for me to move. It's time for me to sit still. Because sometimes, just like I was at that light, God will make us like wait for a second, because he has that moment like, okay, you gonna trust me? Or maybe just like me, he had you in a place to sit you down and be like, hey, let me show you real quick. Before I take you to where I'm trying to get you, I need you to see this so you can correct it for the next time. So when you do get to the place you're going to, you don't carry these same personality traits or morals or values or way of thinking or principles into your destination, which is going to only bring you to your next place and your next place. So maybe he will have you at a moment, and I needed to maybe have that moment, because had I not, I would have kept perpetuating a life of fear. I'd have kept letting fear override my faith when I know that God got my back. I do not want to be delayed in this season. I fought to become the woman I am to this day. Y'all don't know, I've been through some stuff in the last year, you hear me? Fighting to become this version of me. I haven't done like my what's the word Wednesdays, really, because I just felt so out of whack, and I had to fight tooth and nail to get back to a place with God like this. And to hear from him like that really lets me know that I'm in a place that he's beginning to trust me again. And I'm thankful, because oftentimes we think the blessing should come first, but the correction had to come. He had to correct something in me, because whatever he's bringing me to in this season, because he was intentional about correcting that thing, that lets me know that everything I gotta do in this next season and the seasons to come, I cannot do it with fear. And even if fear creeps up, I gotta do it scared. I gotta do it. It was not by coincidence, by fluke, that he took that moment to use it as an example for me. And I am not going to let it just fade away. And I think about it every day since it's happened, and I'm just so thankful, because I don't want to keep it to myself. And you may be out there struggling with it, or you know somebody else who may be struggling with it. So if it is, like, share this video with them, because we need to be reminded. And it's not something new. We know not to let fear be our driving force. We know that God does not give us a spirit of fear, but sometimes it gets to be our norm again, that we don't really notice it as a problem. And sometimes it needs to be brought back to our attention, and I'm here to bring it back to your attention. The things that God gotta do for you, no matter what this year looks like, God is gonna do a big thing in your life in spite of. And you cannot allow fear. You cannot allow fear of what's going on in this world, what's going on in your life, family, whatever, health, no matter what it is, you cannot allow the fear of it to dictate you and delay you. So I just really pray that I bless somebody, because it has really been blessing me. And y'all don't understand how excited I am to be back in communion with God like this again. Like, it's gonna be more videos like this, because this is who I am, and I'm never gonna be content in my content if I'm not being authentic. And this is authentically a big part of my life, and I have got to share. I'm not being like, oh, I'm a preacher, no, and I'm not claiming I'm trying to, unless God gives them to me, because there's a weight and a certain level of critique that comes with that from God himself. So I'm not proclaiming any of those things. However, I am going to share the good news of God, and whenever he does something like this in my life, I'm going to share. And there's another video that's going to be coming probably next week. I'm probably going to do maybe like one a week, unless he like presses me to do more than one. And I'm sorry I'm talking fast, but I get so excited when I talk about God. Nothing makes me this excited except talking about the word, and that is how I know this is what's supposed to be done. So God, I just thank you for this opportunity to share with your people, and those who need to see this video, God, you will send it to them. If you know somebody who needs to see this video, then it was for you to send to them. Do not be disobedient. Allow God to work through you and watch your hands be blessed. So my question to you is, what are you afraid of? What's delaying you? And what we gonna do about it in this season? So that's all. I love y'all. Bye. Hope it helps.